We're still talking business right here, and entrepreneurship is a very, very important sphere in the realm of business. I mean, especially with, should I say, declining business landscape right now, being an entrepreneur is literally the way out. But a lot of us with the very harsh realities, we have a problem taking up the mantle and being entrepreneurs because, you know, the cost of living can be very high, and also the cost of acquiring goods to market, and, you know, every sort of business, of course, has its highs and its lows. And every time we also do need motivation. We need to be inspired. We need insights from people that have been in the business and, you know, basically have a way to maneuver the young mind. I have with me right here on the program Business Rendezvous a very, very caring personality, the person of Dr. Charles Ogogo. He is the president, Mentoring House International. He is a mentor himself. He is the author of several amazing books, such as one I have right here, and I'm taking this copy with me. It's called The Empowering Young African Entrepreneurs, and also the mentor of several other books like How to Mentor an African Youth from the United States President's Perspective. And today he's going to share his insights with us. It's very, very amazing to have you here on the show with me, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, so what would you say about young African entrepreneurs?
Okay, to look at this, we have to look at some data. From the African perspective, Africa has a young population. You know, Africa has 1.5 billion people living in the African continent, and of that, we have 70% of the youth of that population. Then in Nigeria, we have 230 people living in Nigeria, and of that population, 70% make up the youth. Okay, then I want to look at it from another perspective. A research that we did indicates that every youth in Africa, 90% of the youth in Africa, they want to become a business person. They want to be like Bill Gates. They want to be like Aliko Dangote. Okay, they want to be like Tony Elumelu. They want to be like Larry Page. But of that 90%, a research indicates that only 8% are fully engaged. So the question is, what becomes of the 11%? So we have 90% who had the anticipation, the vision, the passion to be a business person. But at the end of the day, we now have only 8% fully engaged in business. So what becomes of the 11%? They lost their dreams, their ideas, their passion, and the process. So I have a deep body to reach out to this 11% who had a vision to be a business person, but along the line lost the idea. So also years ago, I think in 2014, I organized a business seminar, you know, in Lagos, where we had almost about 1,000 youth that came. We empowered them. And because of this, I've written several books, you know, to speak to the youth, that they can fulfill their dreams, their business dreams, that they can reach their business perspectives. Okay? Then, when you become a business person, there are things that you need to know, which we'll discuss another line.
All right, so I have a question. In your book, I did read the blurb of your book, and in your book, Empowering Young African Entrepreneurs, you spoke about, like you did just speak about, you spoke about Bill Gates,
yes.
You spoke about Larry Page,
yes.
You also spoke about more indigenous billionaires,
yes.
You spoke about Aliko Dangote,
yes.
the likes of Tony Elumelu.
Yes.
What do these persons have in common?
Oh, every business person has the leverage of their minds. You know, according to Robert, the author of Cash Flow Quadrant, okay, he said the number one leverage in this life is your mind. Your mind is a leverage. It is in your mind that your realities are formed. Okay, so every business person has the leverage of his mind. But the only challenge is that not everybody has been able to develop his mind. Okay? So we encourage people to invest in their mind. Your greater investment in life is the investment to put in your mind. You are a product of your mind. You become who you are in your mind. You know, great leaders, great politicians, business executives, they are formed in the mind. Your mind determines how far you go in life. That's why we encourage people to go for training and retraining. We encourage people to be educated. Your mind is what you have. It is stuff you have in your mind that determines your makeup. Okay, so Larry Page, Bill Gates, Aliko Dangote, Tony Elumelu, and many others, they have the leverage of their mind. They work on their mind. It is their mind that determines. It is your mind that determines what you become. So you have your mind as a leverage.
All right. Bill Gates is one person that happens to be in the top ranking of world's richest men. And he has come on that rank over and over again, repeatedly. A lot of young entrepreneurs, even here in Nigeria, look up to the man. And you spoke about having a business mindset.
Yes.
And I believe that that is likened to having a business sense, right? So Bill Gates has a business sense. What can you say about the business sense of Bill Gates, as also probably is incorporated in your book?
Okay. First of all, let's look at a little history about Bill Gates. Bill Gates was born in 1955. Then at the age of 12, Bill Gates was already a programmer. The difference between Bill Gates and other people who learned computer in this time was that Bill Gates did not only focus on learning how computer operate. The computer was the size of a room. Yes, it was Steve Jobs who had the vision to transform computer from the size of a room into desktop, laptop. Okay, so Bill Gates learned computer when the computer was the size of the room. Bill Gates did not focus only on operating the computer. He learned the technology of the computer, and at the end of the day, that gave you an edge. He became a programmer. So Bill Gates enrolled at Harvard, in 1973. And within the first 2 years at Harvard, Bill Gates discovered the programming code of a computer, MS-DOS. And because of that discovery, Bill Gates dropped out from Harvard University. Okay? So that was, he entered Harvard in 73. Okay? Then in 75, Bill Gates and his friend, late Paul Allen, established for Microsoft, Corporation. That was 75. Then between 75 and within 15 years, of the establishment of Microsoft, Bill Gates became the richest man in America. Within 15 years. So he became the richest man when he was 35 years. Okay? Then in 1998, Bill Gates took 15 billion out of his $72.5 billion of his fortune. He removed $15 billion to form his own foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Then, in the year 2000, Bill Gates stepped down from being the CEO of Microsoft. In the year 2014, Bill Gates also stepped down and be the chairman to focus just on his foundation. But let me give you the business sense of Bill Gates.
All right.
Okay. Number one, Bill Gates discovered a new market. To be a good business person, you must be to create market. Bill Gates created software market. In those days, software was not having commercial value.
You're talking about the trade secrets right now of Bill Gates.
Yes. In those days, software had no commercial value. You use software, you don't throw it away. But Bill Gates sat down and created market, the software market. How did he do it? He created software that can do what ordinary people want to do. The software that can calculate, that can budget, and can do graphics, and very colorful. And before you know it, the whole world was after Bill Gates. Okay? There was what? Bill Gates was a brilliant young man, very intelligent, and he employed intelligent people to work with him. Then let me give you another good aspect of Bill Gates, the business sense of Bill Gates. When Bill Gates was 25 years old, IBM, International Business Machine, the Big Blue, invited Bill Gates for a discussion. And they said, we need the Microsoft operating system, the MS-DOS, for their personal computers. So they said, Bill Gates should sell it to them. Bill Gates sat down, Bill Gates understood what, you need to hear this, understood negotiating skills. In negotiating skills, for a business person, number one, the first law is what? You don't focus on position. Number two, you separate the problem from the people. Number three, you focus on your interest. Number four, you create option for mutual gain in negotiation. Mutual gain. Only you cannot win. So Bill Gates told IBM, I'm not selling my operating system. I just want royalty. I want to retain ownership.
So whatever comes out, I have like a percentage.
Of course.
All the time.
And later, IBM will regret that deal. Because it cost IBM a huge amount of money to service that deal. And within 50 years, Bill Gates became the richest person in America. That's business sense. Then when Bill Gates discovered that the software market was dropping because of competition, Bill Gates diversified into other computer-related platform development. So
he was ever evolving.
Yes, of course. It was a future thinker. You know, he had what we call, it was a big thinker. It was a big thinker. The other thing Bill Gates did was what, to align with corporate brands to market the software. Yes.
You need partners.
Yes. Corporate brand like Ford Motors. So I want to encourage African businessmen, to understand the principle of creating market. You must create market, new market that will make people to come for your products.
All right. Since we are dwelling on Bill Gates, right?
Okay.
I have a question. Which of these business senses, business rules of Bill Gates, can you say, you talked about partnership, you talked about, prioritizing your own interests.
Okay,
you talked about that.
Focus on your interests,
yes. Which of these rules really appeal most to you and do you think is most important?
Bill Gates has about 13 set of rules, but let's focus about 3 or 4 of them. Number one, Bill Gates said, the first of all was, he said, believe in your idea. So for an African businessman, I want to encourage you, believe in your idea. Man does not have a money problem, man has an idea problem. The money you are looking for is buried in your idea.
Really? In this economy?
Yes. Every business you see today began as a seed called idea. Of course, Microsoft was an idea in his mind. So Bill Gates said, believe in your idea. So the second thing Bill Gates said is what? He said, always be a student. Always be a student.
Ever ready to learn.
Ever ready to learn. Always be a student. Then number 3 he said, make a difference. Then number 4 he said, create the best product. People go after the best product. They say, okay, and respect. And respect. Very, very important. Then he says, surprise the pessimist, the negative thinker, those who have written you off, those who believe you cannot become anything useful in life. Surprise them. Of course. Surprise them, the pessimist. Then he said again, take your competitor seriously.
Don't take him for granted.
Yes. And in the early days of Microsoft, the major competitor to Microsoft was Apple Computer. Yes. Bill Gates look at the difference between Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. Bill Gates had a dream to become a software king. Steve Jobs had a dream to become a hardware king. Yes. And two of them were rivals. You know, at the time, Steve Jobs left Apple Computer because of a corporate judgment. You know, Steve Jobs hired somebody to become the president of what? Apple Computers. And that person now went against Steve Jobs. It was now in 1985, Steve Jobs retired from his own company. Yes. So after some years, in 1996, Apple went into decline. So Steve Jobs was now asked to come back. So when he came back, he made four great decisions. You know, so I want our entrepreneurs to know the function of CEO. Every CEO has three major functions. One, interpersonal function, how you relate with your staff. Number two, informational function. The information you communicate to your staff. Because information is of two levels, old information and current information. Some people are working with old information. We're talking about current information. Analog, old information. Digital, new information. Then the third one, decisional. Let me come again. Every CEO has three fundamental functions. One, interpersonal role. Two, informational role. Three, decisional role. So every CEO has to make decision. And it's your decision that drives the enterprise. So when Steve Jobs came back to Apple Computers, he made 3 or 4 important decisions. Number one, he announced alliance with Microsoft. Then when he did that, Microsoft then made available Office 98 for the Mac. And that boosted up the sales of Apple Computer. The number two, Apple Computer bought up primary cloner, power computer. You know, after buying power computer, he acquired the staff, the operating license. Then the third one again that he did was he announced Apple Store. Within 1 month, Apple Computer became what? The third leading site in the whole world. So it's decision.
All right, thank you so much for those insights so far. Your book, you are the author, Empowering the Young African Entrepreneur. I like to narrow it down to West Africa, not just West Africa, Nigeria right here.
Okay.
The business scene for the entrepreneur can be very dicey. I'll call it a landmine.
Okay.
Constantly, the young entrepreneur is encountering losses, decline. How would you say, what is your advice to this young entrepreneur navigating the business scene in modern day Nigeria? What should he do? What should he know? What are your insights?
But first of all, we need to understand the data of the business environment. Okay. Youths, the business, well, let's say we have 100% of the business population in Nigeria. Of the business population in Nigeria, 67% belong to the youth between the age of 18 and 35. 67% of the youth, they control the business world in Nigeria. Okay? So my advice to Nigerian youth today is just like what I mentioned in my book, challenges are natural. Go to America, you see the American challenge. Go to Europe, you see the Europe challenge. So what do? You sit down and come up, you study the environment, the business environment, and brainstorm. And do you know that Twitter, that is called X today, X, is a product of brainstorming. You know, the management of paper came together and said, let's brainstorm on communication in our establishment. In the course of brainstorming, Twitter was what they got the concept of Twitter, which was not sold.
Yeah, Elon.
Yes. Okay. So what do I mean? We need to brainstorm. Don't focus on the problem. Focus on solution. And if you have failed before, don't be discouraged. You know, failure does not make you, a failure. It simply means you have not yet succeeded. That you must do something differently. You must do something differently.
All right, thank you so much for being on the program. Amazing insights, and I'm sure that viewers have benefited from it. I have benefited myself, and I thank you so much. It's my pleasure to have had you on the program, Dr. Charles Ogogo. We're still...
Before we go,
okay.
Can I give our viewers, the most important worth bidding words?
Please do.
Okay. The four most important worth bidding words are: keep your cost low. Keep your cost low in business. Be cost effective. Then the three most important worth bidding words, are: own the market. Own the market. Then the two most important worth bidding words are compound interest. In fact, Albert Einstein said that compound interest is one of the wonders of the world. Then the most important worth bidding word is called investment. So that answer the question you asked earlier: what will a Nigerian businessman do in the face of challenges? So he must invest.
All right, once again, thank you very much.